What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the podcast, Talking About Views, episode 107, the Wednesday News. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about college baseball because Texas A&M jumped up in the rankings. NCAA hockey is officially done and over with. So we're talking about the national championship game. And we got some new uniforms coming from the New York Jets and the New York Mets. But first, let's head into the NHL. All right, we'll start off with NHL this week. We got a huge wild card race in the West, or in the East. The West is already set in stone. The only thing we got to do is seeding for the last one or two games, depending on who is playing. For the East, we got a crazy wild card spot. Detroit and Washington are tied for that final wild card spot. Pittsburgh is 1 point behind, and Philadelphia is 2 points behind. There's only one spot remaining. 4 teams still up for grabs. Let's get into how each team could clinch or get eliminated. We'll start off with Detroit. Right now, they do hold that second wildcard spot. They clinch if they win against Montreal tonight on Tuesday night. So, of course, you guys probably already know what's happening. But as of Tuesday night, they clinch with a win against Montreal and a Washington loss against Philadelphia. They're eliminated with a regulation loss. Or if Washington gets a point, they are eliminated, though, if they get a regulation loss or Washington gets a point versus Philadelphia. For Washington, they could clinch with a win against Philadelphia. They're eliminated with a regulation loss, or Detroit gets a point or a win versus Montreal. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, they have to sit back and watch because they don't play till Thursday. They're eliminated if Detroit or Washington outright wins their game. And for Philadelphia, they're eliminated if any result happens in overtime or beyond for regulation against Washington, or Detroit gets a point in this one. So a lot has to come down to Washington. It sounds like they have the best odds as of right now. They just got to win and you're in for Washington. Detroit has to win, but hope that Philadelphia ends up getting a point at the very least. Washington can only get a point for them. So I personally would love to see Detroit in there. I think it's always good when you see playoff Red Wings in the playoffs, but who knows? I mean, anything can happen. It's the last couple of days till the regular season, which playoffs do start on Saturday. All right, let's move on. Announcement from Jakob Silfverberg, Anaheim forward. He announced his retirement from the NHL. He's actually going to sign to go back to play in Sweden. So congrats to him on an awesome career. 11 seasons with Anaheim, 12 altogether. Played over 817 games, 168 goals, 205 assists, and 373 points. Very awesome career. Really on one of those. When I remember Jakob Silfverberg in his prime, I remember him with Ryan Kessler and Andrew Cogliano with those playoff runs. That was probably the most shut down line in hockey that no one ever talked about. Ever since Kessler and Cogliano have moved on, Silfverberg really has had injuries and hasn't been able to kind of be back to that normal Jakob Silfverberg self, which is unfortunate, but we got a lot of use out of him. We actually got him in a trade for Bobby Ryan. So we sent Bobby Ryan over to Ottawa in exchange for Silfverberg and a draft pick, which that draft pick ended up turning out to be Nick Ritchie. So it ended up being a very good trade for Anaheim in the long term. So I am very happy for Silfverberg. Hopefully he enjoys going back home to Sweden and plays lights out over there. Vegas has announced that they are extending Noah Hannafin to 8 years, $7.35 million AAV. I actually thought they already re-signed him, so when I heard the news was official, I actually was kind of surprised, but it's just something new. San Jose has unfortunately become the worst team in the NHL, but on the positive note, they have the best odds at the first overall pick this year. Most likely will be Macklin Celebrini from Boston University. They have a 25.5% chance at number 1, 18.8% at number 2, and 55.7% at number 3. So very good odds to get the first overall pick, which obviously, who does not want to get that first overall pick? And Celebrini is going to be a great asset to any of the teams that have a chance at number 1. A little bit more positive note, Connor McDavid, Edmonton Oilers, obviously, finally has hit the 100 assist mark. He's been chasing this for a little bit. There was a little question marks because he has been a little bit in and out of the lineup because of an injury. Luckily, yesterday versus the San Jose Sharks, he was able to get that 100 assists, putting him as the 4th player to do this in the NHL, record 100 assists in one season, alongside Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, and Bobby Orr. That is unbelievable to see that. I think that is probably one of the most impressive things to do because anybody could get goals, but to rely on other people to get goals and setting them up in the right way, like how McDavid does it, he makes it look so easy. So probably like half of those assists are backdoor tees that just the easiest goals that beer leaguers could score. So McDavid makes the game look easy. I think that's super impressive. Congrats to him. And lastly, let's talk about this team right behind me here, the Arizona Coyotes. So last week we talked a little bit about how they're potentially going to be moving to Salt Lake and kind of how they are going after some land in northern Phoenix. Unfortunate news that we heard on Saturday. Arizona has officially announced the relocation of the franchise to Salt Lake City, Utah. This is very weird situation here because this is still not 100% true. Even though there has been multiple sources, multiple big name sports networking that has said that they are going to move, all the legal stuff is still not done. So as of right now, technically they have not relocated. They haven't even announced anything on the franchise's side, but 99.999% chance that yes, they will be moving to Salt Lake City, which is unfortunate news, especially for people who actually are fans of the Coyotes, which I think there are a pretty decent amount of Coyote fans out here that have a strong opinion of them not moving to Salt Lake City, which is unfortunate. But if we look down the line, Arizona has had many opportunities to get new arenas, better chances to make more money from the team. It's just pretty much been one bad thing after the other. It pretty much all the way started when they had to move out of Phoenix because of their feud with the basketball team and the owners over there, and they had to move to Glendale, which they took that because it was free land. They just had to pay for the arena. Sounds good in the short term. In the long term, was a terrible move. It lost a lot of fans. No one wants to travel out to Glendale. Not a great situation there. They moved back over here a couple seasons ago, played in the college arena. Not a lot of people were happy about that, but it did bring more fans to come into it. They didn't have to pack the whole place, or it wasn't as hard to pack a 5,000 seat arena. I think it's 5,500 arena there, which a lot of big people in the NHL world did not like, but honestly, as a fan, I thought it was a better situation for Arizona. But unfortunately, financially, not going to be sustainable to stay in Arizona. Even if they do get that land, it will take another 3 to 4 years until they can officially move into that property. So likelihood, not worth it. They most likely will get sold to the Utah Jazz owner. I can't remember his first name. Smith is his last name. He will probably take that over. I think $1.2 billion will be going towards the team, and that's how much it'll be sold for, which is crazy. I'm going to have to throw those numbers out. The Arizona owner will have a chance to buy that land still and pretty much prove that he could buy another franchise, bring in a expansion team at that point, and we would have a new Arizona franchise, which I'm hearing that the sell of the team will not include the name Arizona Coyotes, which is kind of like a Winnipeg Jets theme, which I'm actually okay with. I mean, if we see that this owner is going to change, going to bring a big franchise over here to Arizona and actually do something different with the team, I'm okay with that. Let's see a new team here, maybe a little bit revitalize the team with a new franchise, a new arena and a good location. Maybe the fans will get more excited since they lost their team. They want to support the new one. So who knows? Unfortunate news. The last game in Arizona will be on Wednesday, I believe at 7 o'clock against Edmonton at the Mullet. Tickets are unreal. I think 450 standing room as of yesterday, 550 for one seat. If you're lucky, congrats, go to the game. If not, not gonna be surprised. It's not worth $400 standing room, but it is something to watch. I will try and watch the game on my end. So unfortunate news for the Coyotes, but let's move on here. All right, let's head to the MLB. We'll start off with some positive news. LA Dodgers Shohei Ohtani has tied Hideki Matsui for the most home runs by a Japanese-born player. 175 home runs is what he's sitting on right now. Obviously, he will hit that probably later this week, if not tonight against Washington. So he's hitting on 175. So congrats to Ohtani. You're gonna break that record. Be probably the most successful Japanese born player in the MLB hands down, no question. The Chicago White Sox announced earlier today that Tommy Pham has been signed 1 year, $3 million plus incentives. So that will be a big boost to the outfield there. Let's head into injuries. Atlanta's Ozzy Albies is on the 10-day IL with a right toe fracture. Minnesota, Carlos Correa, and Chicago's Seiya Suzuki have both been placed on the 10-day IL with oblique strains. LA Dodgers' Bobby Miller is placed on the IL with shoulder inflammation, and Christian Yelich was just placed on the IL, the 10-day, for low back strain. So unfortunate news for all those teams. Let's head into the uniform talk. We got a leak of the City Connects for the New York Mets. Just the hat is what we've seen, but we could kind of figure out what the whole uniform is going to look like. We'll start off with the hat. I'll pull up a picture right now. So it's a black hat. We got a purple button on the top of the hat. The logo on the front is the normal Mets logo in black, outlined in white. So it looks almost like how they had those black on black hats that you could buy at Lids, Fanatics, the team stores, the normal kind of looking black on white hats. The only thing is different is you got that purple button on the top. And behind the logo, you see a bridge that is in black, so it's a little difficult to see from afar. But up close in this picture, you see a great picture of it. The bridge is right there. It looks great. I think the hat on the front looks pretty clean. Underneath the bill, we have almost like a concrete pattern is what I'm taking away from this. And on the sweat band lining on the inside, it's almost like a neon lights look. It says New York City on the inside. If we're just basing this off the hat itself, I'm giving it a 7.3 out of 10. I think it looks very good. I actually really like that just little pop of color on the top of the hat, that purple. I don't know why I think I like that so much, but I do. The bridge is a little bit busy on the front. The concrete underneath, I actually kind of like that. I think that looks kind of clean. The lining, you're not going to see it that much unless the lining comes out from underneath the hat, which I actually had that Baltimore Orioles City Connect hat, and you can kind of see it if you lift your head up a little bit. You'll see that little bit of orange on the lining. So you might be able to see that when you're wearing it, but you're not going to see it that much. So overall, 7.3, I think it looks pretty good. But what can we take away from this? I think we're just going to see a black uniform at this point. I think we're going to see a black uniform with potentially maybe a neon look like we see the inside for the script on the front, or we might just see a cut and copy of what they wear now, turn it into black and white with some neon accents and maybe kind of a bridge design that we see on the San Francisco City Connects, maybe something like that on the uniform somewhere. There is no uniform that we have pictures-wise. There was one picture that I did see, was not wearing the right hat though, so I don't know. I'm not going to put it in here because I don't think that's a correct a leak, but that leak did have, I think, a charcoal gray. But it was a charcoal gray hat as well. So they don't really match up with what this leak is saying. I think this is probably the most correct between the two. So I'm going to expect a black uniform. So black hat, black pants, black jersey. On the front, I'm going to say it's going to say New York City based off of the inside of the lining. Will it be a neon? I'm going to cross my fingers because I think that might look pretty cool. But I'm not too sure based off of what the logo is on the front. So 7.3, very curious and very excited to see what the City Connect will look like in the future though. All right, let's head to NFL. Not too much to talk about. We'll start off with the two signings. Indianapolis extends DeForest Buckner to 2 years, $46 million, and Philadelphia extends Devontae Smith 3 years, $75 million. Then let's head into the new uniforms. The New York Jets have rebranded once again. It wasn't that long ago that they did have a rebrand to like this different shade of green, introducing the black a little bit more, and the white uniform was new. This time they have gone to a throwback theme. So the picture is up right now. Pretty much a cut and copy of the old throwbacks. I believe the black uniform has stayed the same. There might be a little bit different of the striping, but overall, really just a cut and copy of the throwback uniforms. They will use those throwback helmets for all of their designs, or the logo on there for all of their designs, which I'm okay with. I like that uniform logo. I think it matches well with it. Now let's get into the numbers. For the green uniform, I give it a 7.9 out of 10. I'm not a huge fan of the throwback, but I like the introduction of white in here. I think that it's a lot of white, but I think it kind of works. 7.9, not perfect, but I like it. For the white one, usually I like the white ones a little bit better when it comes to throwbacks. I think they do it well. This time, I think the green one looks better. I'm giving the white one a 6.8, just not nearly as much of a fan as I am as the green ones. And with the black one, I give it a 4.7 out of 10. I don't think it works very much for me. I think the black uniform looks good as an alternate for sure. Don't want to see that as a normal one for the Jets. But because of the green on the arms, it's kind of hard to see. I would have maybe liked to see the white striping to match with the white numbers, but that's just me. So I give the black uniform a 4.7. I think it could have been a little bit better, but it's not terrible. All right, let's head to college hockey. We'll start off with the Hobey Baker winner, which is the most outstanding player in college hockey. That went to Boston University. Macklin Celebrini finished the year 64 points, 32 goals, 32 assists, and 38 games played. Outstanding. This kid's only 17 years old, which made him actually the youngest player to ever win the award. Great career at BU. It's going to be a one and done for him, as he will most likely go first overall. Right now, it looks like the Sharks had the best odds, but I would not be surprised if the league said, here you go, Chicago, have Macklin Celebrini. I will move on from that, and I will not discuss more about why I think that. But let's head back to Celebrini and college hockey. Celebrini had a great season. He did score a bunch of the goals near the end of the year, but regardless, Macklin had a great season over at BU. BU finished second in the rankings going into the tournament, so they had a great season, and Celebrini definitely helped out with that. So let's head into the championship game, where it was Denver versus Boston College. Boston College being the outright favorite in the tournament, being the number 1 seed. Denver coming in as the 3rd seed in this one, being they having to face Boston University. They beat them to make it here. For Boston College, they had to play Michigan, and they were able to dominate that one. This one ended up being pretty much a Matt Davis showing. The goaltender for Denver University, Matt Davis, played unbelievable in the 2 games against both Boston schools. Went 139 saves out of 142 shots for a .979 save percentage, helping Denver University win their 10th national championship by a score of 2-0 in the championship game. It's their first one since the 2022 season. This will also break the tie with Michigan for the most national championships for men's college hockey. Michigan obviously had 10. Michigan's at 9. Denver is at 10 now. So congrats to Denver. Great season by them. Great tournament, and hockey belongs in the West. NCHC conference fan right here. Arizona State's going to be going in there, so they'll be facing against Denver. I was actually lucky enough to watch Denver this year. They played at Arizona State, so I actually got to see Denver firsthand. They were a great team. Didn't really notice any of the big names, but I wasn't watching on TV. It's a little different when you go into the arena. You don't listen to the names. But Matt Davis, hands down, best player of the tournament. He actually did win the MOP, which is the most outstanding player of the tournament. So congrats to Denver. You guys definitely deserved it. Going over to BC, though, they're actually only the first team to make the Final Four, having a quote-unquote power team. And what they look at as a power team is having 4 or more first-round draft picks on your team. I think BC had like 6 or 7. Nobody in the past, I think there was 4 or 5 teams of these power teams that have gone to the Final Four. BC was the first one, and obviously the first one to make a national championship, but obviously did not win. So it's almost like a President's Trophy curse. You have a good team, something happens in the championship games that you just do not win. So maybe we should have looked at history, but BC had a good season. They should take away from that. And a lot of these players out of this tournament just ending have signed with the pro team. So go check out that, and maybe your favorite team has signed one of the young guns. I know Anaheim signed Gauthier, and I expect him to play on Thursday, so I'll be excited to watch that game, Anaheim versus Vegas. So good season by Denver and BC. Congrats on the 10th national championship for Denver. All right, let's head to college softball. Start off with the rankings. Texas, Oklahoma, Duke, and Tennessee all stay put 1 through 4. Stanford gets a +2 to 5. Oklahoma State gets a -1 to 6. LSU drops 1 to 7. Washington drops 2 to 8. Georgia drops 1 to 9. Florida drops 1 to 10. UCLA stays put at 11. Texas A&M stays put at 12. Missouri stays or jumps up 2 to 13. Arkansas stays put at 14. Alabama drops 2 to 15. Virginia Tech and Mississippi State stay put at 16, 17. Florida State stays put at 18. Louisiana gets a plus 2 to 19. Clemson and Oregon both stay tied at 20. 22, we have Arizona jumping up 3 spots. Kentucky goes from unranked to 23. Cal drops 1 spot, and Texas State goes from unranked to 25. No dropouts this week, but other receiving votes, we had Northwestern at 32, Miami of Ohio at 29, Baylor at 17, Boston University at 16, Auburn at 14, and South Carolina at 14 as well. Before we get into upsets, big shout out to Sarah Willis. She reached her 200 Ks on the season for UCF. For those of you who don't know, Sarah Willis, I went to high school with her. I'm a huge fan of what she does in college softball, and we're still really good friends. We all still hang out as much as possible during the summer, so can't wait to see you this summer, Sarah. Hopefully you keep it moving with UCF and make it into the tournament. So hopefully we won't see you too soon during the summer. We'll be rooting for you for the rest of the year, though. So congrats. Let's head to upsets of the week. We'll start off with a midweek. Nothing too crazy. We only had 3 upsets. Starting off with number 10, Florida beating number 7, LSU, 6-5 in 8 innings. South Florida beating number 9, Florida, 7-4. And Campbell beating number 8, Duke, 3-2. Then we head to Friday. Iowa State beating number 5, Oklahoma State, 2-0. Number 15, Missouri beating number 9, Florida, 6-3. Kentucky beating number 8, Georgia, 7-5. BYU beat number 2, Oklahoma, 9-4. Number 17, Mississippi State beat number 4, Tennessee, 9-1. Auburn beat number 6, LSU, 3-2. And number 25, Arizona beat number 20, Oregon, 7-5. We head to Saturday, where number 25, South Carolina beat number 14, Arkansas, 2-1. Number 13, Alabama beat number 12, Texas A&M, 2-0. Number 15, Missouri beat number 9, Florida, 5-2. And Iowa State beating number 5, Oklahoma State, 5-2. We head to Sunday, where Texas State beat number 21, Louisiana, 5-0. Auburn beat number 6, LSU, 3-1. Kentucky beat number 8, Georgia, 6-2. Oregon State beat number 5, Stanford, 6-5. And number 25, Arizona beat number 20, Oregon, in 8 innings by a score of 3-2. Arizona State update, they had a horrendous weekend. They got swept by Utah 9-3, 10-9, and 4-0. Did not watch any of the games because I went to the game on Friday for baseball, so I missed it. And after what I saw on the box scores, did not want to go watch that again, so went over to baseball all weekend long. So did not watch that. Tough weekend, though, for those ladies. This weekend, though, they play at GCU on Tuesday and at Arizona on the road for 3 games. So big rivalry game there. Personally, what do I expect? Maybe 2-2 on the weekend. Maybe they'll beat GCU and take 1 out of Arizona, but overall, based off of what they played against Utah, I would not be surprised to see them get swept by Arizona, which is unfortunate news, but if we're talking all likelihood, it probably will happen. All right, let's head to college baseball. Let's start off with the rankings. We got a new number 1, as we mentioned at the top of the show. Texas A&M jumped up in the rankings. They got a +2 to number 1. Arkansas drops 1 to 2. Kentucky jumps up to 5 to 3. Tennessee stays put at 4. Oregon State stays put at 5. Clemson drops 4 to 6. Duke stays put at 7. Florida State gets +2 to 8. East Carolina stays put at 9. Virginia gets a +1 to 10. North Carolina gets +2 to 11. Wake Forest gets +2 to 12. Vanderbilt drops 7 to 13. Louisiana jumps up 5 to 14. Oklahoma State gets a +6 to 15. Oregon gets a +2 to 16. UCI jumps 5 to 17. Alabama jumps up 7 to 18. Coastal Carolina gets a +1 to 19. South Carolina goes from unranked to 20. Arizona also goes from unranked to 21. West Virginia also goes from unranked to 22. Virginia Tech drops 7 to 23. Georgia goes from unranked to 24. And DBU drops 10 to 25. Teams that dropped out this week: UCF, Mississippi State, Nebraska, and Florida. Let's head into upsets of the week. We're going to start off with the midweek upsets. South Carolina Upstate beat number 2 Clemson 9-5. William and Mary beat 7 Duke 5-2. South Carolina beat North Carolina 2-1. Kansas beat number 23 Nebraska 13-11. South Alabama beat number 25 Alabama 5-4. Sacramento State beat number 18 Oregon 15-8. Samford beat number 8 Kentucky 9-7. USC beat number 12 UCI 12-5. Louisiana Tech beat number 19 Louisiana 7-2. We had a Friday where NC State beat number 2 Clemson 11-8. Rutgers beat number 23 Nebraska in 11. That was a score of 7-6. South Carolina beat number 24 Florida 10-3. West Virginia beat number 17 UCF 7-6. UC San Diego beat number 12 UCI 15-4. We had a Saturday where Louisville beat number 11 Virginia 14-10. Boston College beat number 14 Wake Forest 5-4. Georgia Southern beat number 16 Virginia Tech in 7 innings by a score of 19-0. West Virginia beat number 17 UCF 7-5. Alabama beat number 1 Arkansas in 10 innings 4-3. NC State beat number 2 Clemson 4-0. Ole Miss beat number 22 Mississippi State in 12 innings by a score of 10-9. We head to Sunday. West Virginia beat number 17 UCF in 11 innings 11-10. Rutgers beat number 23 Nebraska 6-4. Pitt beat number 7 Duke 11-10. Charlotte beat number 9 East Carolina 8-7. Georgia Tech beat number 16 Virginia Tech 11-7. Number 25 Alabama beat number 1 Arkansas 5-0. Air Force beat DBU 10-6. Ole Miss beat number 22 Mississippi State in 7 innings 14-2. Stanford beat number 5 Oregon State 11-10. USC beat number 18 Oregon 4-2, and UC San Diego beat UC Irvine 10-9. We had an Arizona State update. They didn't look good at all this weekend. Went 1-3 on the week. Lost to GCU. Lost to Utah 10-0 and 11-5 on Friday and Sunday. Ended up winning that Saturday game to avoid the sweep by a score of 8-3. This week they get Fullerton on the road and they get UCLA at home. Personally, I don't see them winning, going better than 2-2. They might beat Fullerton, but Fullerton always seems to be a good baseball team, especially you get a one game. Anything could happen there. UCLA, maybe they win the series, maybe they don't. I don't see them getting swept though. So I think they might go 1-3 or 2-2. Nothing better than that though. Games of the weekend, so nothing too much to talk about. We'll start off with the NHL Playoffs starting on Saturday. Obviously, the schedule is not out because the playoffs are not completely set. So once those are out, check out what games to follow those. MLB, Orioles versus Royals. That is a 3-game set starting on the weekend. Softball, number 7 LSU versus number 4 Tennessee. Baseball, number 4 Tennessee versus number 3 Kentucky. Well, guys, that will do it for this episode. Thank you guys for listening. Episode 107 in the books. We got a new episode coming out this weekend. It's going to be another tier list episode. So if you guys actually don't know, we made a tier list episode, which is a YouTube exclusive, just easier to follow on YouTube. Thought about making an audio version as well. Did not work out, made it very difficult to follow. So YouTube exclusive tier list. We had one a couple weeks ago all about fast food restaurants. You get to see our rankings. We had 5 guests on for that one total. This week we have chip flavors. So tier list of all the flavors of chips, or at least most of the flavors of chips. Gets a little heated. It's about a 45-minute episode, another YouTube exclusive. So if you guys like non-sport related things, check that out. It's a fun episode to follow and watch. So that will drop on Friday. So make sure you guys check that out. Follow the links down below with Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to see our trailers that we have actually been dropping. I've actually been doing better on dropping those trailers and making TikToks and Instagram Reels for those. So go check out those links down below. If you're listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, check us out on YouTube. Vice versa, if you're on YouTube, check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. The more follows and the more ratings we get, the more we get exposed and the easier it is to reach out to all of you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Have an awesome weekend, and we'll see you guys later.